Good evening, friends. I'm Stephen Benoon. You're watching Israeli News Live. Got Yana here with me this evening, and she's put together a lot of information that we need to go over tonight. Everything from the Noahide laws, Antifa, the dangers that are laying ahead with Antifa, mask, what they really mean. And listen, it's not good, friends. None of this is good where we are headed. And what's even worse is that the church leaders have sold out their flocks. Let's get into this right now.
Yes, hello, and I would like to know if you can hear us well because we are live and I don't know if people can hear
Oh,
us and
people
the
should hear very well when it's like this. It's when we're way away from the phone itself, because we are using our phone for that. So we got yeses, yeses, yes, yes,
yes,
yes.
good,
Okay, so don't
yes,
worry
I
about it.
hear, we can
Great.
hear, very nice. Okay, shalom to you all, wall to wall.
Shalom in a world of Ain Shalom. There is no peace, friends. There is no peace. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there just is no peace. We are living in a world of Ain Shalom. So I'm very concerned about things that are going on, Yana, especially after I heard today things that Adam Green was sharing with us that Michael Brown wrote in his book, and I don't know if we're going to be getting into that tonight or
Well,
not.
we are going to have Adam Green on in
All
about
right.
5 to 6 days.
Okay, yeah, let's
So we
get Adam
will.
on. We need Adam to come
Adam
on.
has amazing information. It's not good. None of this information is good. And let me address first some of the comments as we had them earlier on previous thing. First of all, we are not fear mongering you. We are only informing you. Okay, so don't take it as a fear mongering. We do believe in Jesus and we know that He's in control. We knew
Yes.
this is going to come.
Well,
It's
we've
just,
warned people. I mean, I've been giving information on intel sources for a long time. I would much rather that none of this was coming about. Much rather just go about our daily lives with no big deal. Everything's great. Eat, drink, be merry, and be happy, as Paul said. But it's not the way it is.
a lot of other pastors that just, they say, vaccines are okay, just be happy, the revival is coming, it's gonna be all right. And, they're not telling people the truth. I rather know the truth. Now, somebody says Adam Green is complete fraud. That is not true. I can guarantee you it's not true. They're telling this the same thing about us. The agents have been sent out to troll the truthers, to destroy credibility, to blackmail people. So if you are actually believing this kind of stuff, this is your problem. Adam Green is definitely not any what are
Well,
they
I
telling?
would I
They're
would
telling
say,
that
let me say
he's
it like this
controlled
here.
opposition.
It's not that it's not. I wouldn't say that it's their problem. The thing is that there is a lot of um, there's a lot of trolls out there. There's a lot of people that are against us as well, and you know, listen, you're always going to have that. You're always going to have that. The thing is, people are trying to do the best they can, and Adam is. You may not agree with everything he thinks or says or does, but listen, the man is doing the best he can, and he really. We know what he says off the air as we speak to him privately, things like that. Adam is just wanting people to realize what's going on before this whole thing ends up with beheading of believers all over the planet. So, listen, let's just forget about all that. Let's move forward. I don't have time to read comments anyway. Let's
Okay.
stick with what we need for people to know about.
As many of you remember, we used to do chats on Noahide laws. We still have them on our playlist. And the other day, I received a call from Vincent Bruno. He has a website called stopnoahidelaw.blogspot.com. I had him on twice for the reason that he is really an expert, an activist against the Noahide laws. Not that we agree religiously or in our faith, it's just that we exchange information on Noahide laws. And he recently had this Jewish man on that you're looking at. I am not sure what the name of a Jewish name is. He calls himself Doovid, Doovid. Is that what you see here?
It's probably
Right
his
there?
screen name, yes,
Okay.
Duvig, with a
Doovid,
G.
right.
That's what it looks like, I think. I'm not really sure about
I'm not
that,
sure
but
about the name. I can find out. But Vincent sent me this video, and they're debating about which religions are Noahide, which kind of cults that are a part of cults that call themselves Christians are actually Noahides, and they're discussing Freemasons, they're discussing Orthodox Jews, they're discussing Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses, and discussing Catholics. Now, you're going to hear some shocking information at certain minute markings. Basically, I want you to listen to about 7 minutes of this video. So we're gonna play the entire video, and please pay
or
attention.
7 minutes of the video, not the entire video.
No, the video that we are doing.
Okay, yes,
But
yes.
please listen to this. It will be only 7 minutes. Not, the whole video is about 50 minutes here, but I'm gonna play 7 minutes of it. Leave you a link so you can listen to it yourself if you want to. Anyway, this particular Jewish man is going to speak about how Noahide structures are ran by the Jews, and how purpose of Muslims, Catholic religions, Jehovah's Witness religions is basically going to be to administer Noahide laws. At the minute marking of 2644, he's going to say that Pope of Rome will be the Noahide judge. He will be judging on Noahide courts. He's also going to speak about the Messiah that is coming, who will force Noahide religion or Noahide laws upon the world. So please listen to this discussion, and you can make comments as you wish. But if you remember, Steve and I, we have been telling you this. And Pope of Rome has signed up with the Jews on Noahide laws in the year of 2007. They have been preparing this for a very long time. And you don't hear about Noahide laws anywhere, do you? Yet they are on the books for the New World Religion. Okay, so let me start at 2055, 56. Let's have a listen.
Judaism is actually the hardware of Freemasonry. Like Freemasonry is a software.
So certainly you could say that then. I mean, so certainly according to you, so if anytime someone told you you're a Jew, you mean like, oh, so you're a Mason.
No,
you could say like, well, of course, if you're a Jew, of course you're a Mason.
I believe
if
that.
Judaism's at the center of Masonry, then of course Jews are Masons.
No, you could be. No. Freemasonry is based on Judaism, but I mean, it's based on Judaism and it works for Judaism, but Judaism isn't Freemasonry. You can have Judaism without Freemasonry.
Well, okay, so maybe you just say Orthodox Jews. So this, if you're not, I would say all Jews from what, but certainly from the perspective, if you like Mormons or Hare Krishnas or witnesses from that structure, Orthodox Jews are basically born Masons because they have that, they're culturally initiated into this greater religious system. And if you don't have to know enough, you don't have to know a bunch about Orthodox Judaism or Jehovah's Witness if you just say like, well, you're a Mason, right?
Well, they won't tell you that, and maybe they won't even understand what you're talking about. But if you go and especially read Fritz Springmeier, the whole Jehovah's Witness, Mormon, Christian Science, Seventh-day Adventist, even Scientology, Nation of Islam, all the religions that were born here in America are Freemason-based. So they're all based in Freemasonry, and Jehovah's Witness is one of them. And by root of Freemasonry, that's why they are so connected to Orthodox Judaism, because Orthodox Judaism, I mean, anywhere you have Freemasonry, you're going to have a disproportionate amount of influence from Jews.
If you want, I'll break it down to you is in a Duvidian interpretation of how the witnesses are in fact Noahide body. In terms of your Masonic structure, yes, the witnesses are in fact Masons, and the Masons are in fact a Judaic Noahide structure, and you as a witness were just a low-ranking Noahide. But from that structure where the witnesses, like, I went to the Bible study, and everything was basically handed down from headquarters. The whole structure, I'm saying, we talked with each other, we were friendly, but the organization of the book we read, the pages that we read, the videos that we watched, the structured conversation was all determined from headquarters, right? There's no variation.
No.
And saying, then besides that, there's a hierarchical structure
Yes.
of eventually it's going to be a board of people. And
Yeah.
if you, I forget the witnesses call them apostles or what elders.
Elders.
And he's saying, but that board of elders is essentially a Noahide tribunal, and saying and also the Mormons. So if you look at in any of these organizations like the Hare Krishnas that have a GBC, governing body, Masonic Noahide tribunal that in theory has power over the whole membership, and also is directing that there's one central body that is creating the infrastructure for everything that happens all around the world, and that's essentially a Masonic Noahide structure. And if you were born into it, like as a Jew, it doesn't matter. Like, okay, you're a Mormon, you're a Krishna, you're a witness, or it could be your Nichiren, or any of these, even maybe Tibetan or Hasidic group or Orthodox in general, is okay, you're a Mason, and that means you're a Noahide, and you're within this structure of Noahidism, and in all likelihood is as you get higher and higher up in these structures of the Noahide tribunals, you'll see more and more Jewish influence to the peak of the Noahide structure, where it's basically ran by Jews.
Yes, that's what's
It's
going
so funny because Christians are like, Judeo-Christian is not a thing. And I'm like, wow. They literally...
I was saying from the Duvidism, I think Vince is somewhat in agreement in saying that's historically, that's just Freemasonry. The structure that's been is Freemasonry. Catholics, any of these bodies, like if you say Catholics, Muslims, could fall into these Noahide tribunal structures where the purpose of Islam in general, or Catholicism, or the witnesses, or any of these bodies is going to be to administer the Noahide laws in its various forms. And as you go up, if you're just your witness or your Catholic at your local church, and you're like, I thought we hated the Jews, but you didn't know that your directives on high are basically coming from a Noahide tribunal that's largely governed by Jewish influence.
Well, the Vatican is now, the Vatican's officially signed on and said that the Noahide laws are incumbent, and they used another word. It wasn't mandatory, but it had the same meaning.
But eventually the Pope will be an official, if Messiah, so to say, comes in our lifetime, or that process comes, that the Pope will in fact be, a judge on the Noahide tribunal.
Yes.
Don't you think that
would be
possible because of the whole anti-white supremacy for a judge?
From a pure messianic vision, and you could be an entropist also, or maybe even Gandalf, and saying there's going to be a grand stage, and all of the biggest figures in humanity are going to be on their knee, and it's going to be me walking down the center to the throne, and then I'm going to wave to the crowd, and they're all going to be kneeling there, and then the Pope is going to put the crown on me, and the Dalai Lama is going to, and all the the various great societal leaders of that. And things. So every demagogue, every person could have their version of that ceremony, that their coronation ceremony. But from a Noahide council, it's going to be Messiah coming, and the Messiah is going to set up the Noahide courts, and all of the leaders of the Goyim are going to be they say that's the Messiah. It was always the God of the Jews, and now we're here to administer the Noahide courts.
Wow. Okay, let's stop here.
Well, yeah, I mean, and
So did you hear this?
Yes.
He was saying that Messiah is coming and all the leaders of the Goyim are going to, Messiah will force the Noahide courts and all the leaders of the Goyim are
Right.
going to,
And he's talking about not just Christian church leaders, but he's talking about all world church leaders of different religions, whether they be Buddhist, whether they be Jeek, Zines, whatever they might be, Baha, you name it. That's what he's saying, that they're all going to say, oh, wow, this was the Messiah. I remember we listened to it earlier today, that when he was talking about this, the one thing that caught my attention is that when he was saying this, like in the case of the Jehovah's Witnesses, he was saying that they're going to realize that it was that it was all along, it was the Rebbe who was actually the Messiah, whichever one they choose it to be, something of that nature anyway. And of course I know that, oh gosh, can't think of his name now, the guy that's doing the interview there.
Oh, Vincent.
Yeah, Vincent. Vincent was having a hard time believing that witnesses as far as Noahides. And, I remember, Yana, when I was doing the study on the Noahides based on the Freemasons and the 21st degree Mason, I even mentioned to you, and this is a while back, that Jehovah's Witnesses would fit right into this category.
well, yeah, he admits that Jehovah's Witnesses are actually low-ranking Noahides and they're going to change their religion to the Noahidism, but he's saying that all religions are going to unite
Yes,
under
they are.
Pope of Rome. Let's listen one more time, 26:44. Just listen to this one more time with me, friends. This is shocking, but we have talked about this. We have told you and showed you document that Pope of Rome has signed up, okay, on the Noahide laws with the Jewish rabbis in 2007, and all of the Protestant religions now and cults are coming under the Pope.
but it has the same meaning.
But
So-
eventually the Pope will be an official, I mean, if Messiah, so to say, comes in our lifetime, or that process comes, that the Pope will in fact be, a judge on the Noahide tribunal.
Yes.
Don't
Yes,
you think
it
that
would be.
Possible because of the whole,
So you see that? I mean, they are preparing this. This is in their books. This is on their signatures. This is why it's been re-signed year by every president. This is what they're preparing, the Noahide laws for the Goyim. Okay, well, let's move on to the next subject right now. And we just got breaking news from Natural News, Mike Adams. And Mike Adams, I really like his information. He's writing about a lot of truths in many areas. I did not agree with him before on few things. We have some differences, and he was way too much pro-Trump for me because, as you know, we don't have a government. This left-right paradigm brought us to what is happening right now. It's not just the left. This division of the country was pre-planned, okay? So we don't have a government, it's a corporation, and we have them against us. And behind the scenes, they cooperate on the same agenda. This has been proven over and over and over. And I think that Mike Adams, when he found out last time that Donald Trump is on a warp speed vaccine operation, this is the first time I heard him
May have
say
been a wake-up
something.
call for him finally.
Right,
so.
finally. But a lot of his information is good, and this information was sent to me by my dear sister, Rosa. And that was shocking here, Steve.
Breaking thousands of guillotines pre-positioned across America for left-wing terrorists to execute conservative Christians and whites in the unfolding Civil War.
This was all
And-
prepared.
Yeah, the thing
Yeah.
is, we've said this to you guys for a long time, right straight from Washington, D.C., the very information that 500,000 blades for guillotines had been ordered back during the Obama administration, which goes to show, doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican, they're all involved in this. And of course, I've known about since 2014 that they're trying to create a civil war, and this is just not good at all.
Can you read this, Steve?
Yes, I can. It says here, a deep background source has provided us with a document detailing the distribution of genocide machines, guillotines across America in preparation for a left-wing coup attempt that will see Antifa and Black Lives Matter terrorists literally beheading conservative Christians and white people. This news comes on the heel of a left-wing terrorist placing a guillotine in front of the home of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, stating when they become threatened, we have no voice, the knives come out. It is not merely symbolism. The radical left intends to overthrow private property, private businesses across America, mass murder, all political leaders and business leaders who support capitalism and usher in an authoritarian communist regime that will mass slaughter millions of Americans. Here is a video of the left-wing terrorists who are threatening to kill Jeff Bezos and virtually all other capitalists in America as part of their violent insurrection attempt. And as you can see right there in front of Jeff Bezos' house, there is a guillotine has been placed there.
Wanna play it?
You know, yeah, you go ahead and play it. Let's see what it says here.
I'ma put it down. I'ma put it down when nobody around. I'ma with the crowd. I'ma wear it down. I'ma wear a shirt that say John Brown.
Okay, that's
And
interesting.
nobody seems to care. Oh my gosh.
Okay, over the weekend, a group of over 100 left-wing terrorists formed a mob that threatened to burn down the house of St. Louis couple who now famously defended their home with a pistol and AR-15. Notably, this couple supports Black Lives Matter and donated thousands of dollars to Democrats, yet even that wasn't enough to keep the violent mob away from their own property. Well, this is absolutely crazy, this
It is.
guillotine, Steve. I mean, this is just shocking. But what you see here is the same thing that happened in Russia. As you all know, I fled as very
Fled.
young. I mean, fled. Sorry, fleed. No, not fled. Fled.
If you fleed, that's because you've been laying down with the dogs and you're trying to get rid of the fleas.
Right,
But
me
if you
too.
fled,
If I fled, wow, I must be tired.
the
But
former
anyway,
Soviet Union,
well, not Soviet Union.
well, you were in the, what you consider the
Communist bloc. Yeah,
yes.
you know, Czechoslovakia wasn't Soviet Union, and that's interesting because so many people just don't know geography. Everybody calls me Russian. I'm
Yes.
not Russian. But anyway, we did have Russian language as a compulsory language because we were under communism and under Russia, okay? They were dictating to us. We were in dictatorship. And as a very young girl, I always dreamed about coming to United States. We heard about freedom that is here and the Constitution. And with my girlfriends, we were studying the Constitution in secret because it was all illegal. And we were studying it in secret and just we wanted so badly to come to United States. And my girlfriends married and had children. And I actually was able to come here and pursue my dreams. And what I'm seeing here right now is exactly what happened in Soviet bloc, what happened in Russia. Russia, you see, Russians are not communists. Russians were a Christian nation,
Yes, they were.
and they were overthrown by communists, by Jewish communists. And it is a well-known fact that communism is a Jewish ideology. It is a secular Talmudism. That's what it is. And this is what's happening to United States now. And it's very difficult to watch this happen because I know what we are facing. I know the tyranny, and we already live in tyranny now, medical tyranny. But all of our freedoms are going to be taken away. And some people say, oh, Yana, you sound so scared. You know what? I just see what's happening. I lived it as a child. And now I see this same thing happening in a country that was considered safe haven. I mean, people would receive visas, like what was it? It was a special visa for those who fled communist countries.
Asylum.
Yes,
Asylum visa is what people would get when they were fleeing for religious persecution purposes.
exactly. And I had that visa myself when I came here because I was considered refugee from communistic country. Okay. And I would never believe that Americans would just so easily give up freedom. But of course, all of this was pre-planned because the communists were infiltrated among, in every area of our life, education, religion, in a form of
Yes.
Freemasonry and
Yes.
religion, Jesuits, and so on. So they basically infiltrated every area of United States media, film making, you name it. Everything is infiltrated. Okay, Rothschilds and Rockefellers, Kabbalists,
Exact same thing that
Khazarians.
happened
Okay,
in Russia and also in the eastern parts of Europe. There, the exact same thing happened there. But the thing is we don't. Here's the whole thing, Yana. In the churches here, there has been so much. Propaganda that has been taught in the churches that have totally taken the scriptures and twisted them to the point that Christians have become blinded for Israel, for a secular state that was created, thinking that it was scripture that had to be fulfilled. I used to think the exact same thing. And I know we're going to be talking, not tonight, but very soon, we're going to be talking with Adam Green about the book that was written by
person who was on education.
no, actually,
Brown, Michael
yes,
Brown.
Michael Brown. And
Yeah.
you had came to me already about Jeremiah 46, and I was looking it over when we got started on the broadcast here. And again, Jeremiah 46 has nothing to do with a future prophecy. This was back during the Babylonian times, and I know it because of the study of the Nephilim. And Jeremiah 46 is another powerful scripture about that time of the Babylonian captivity, and about all the different nations that were taken into Babylon. And so when we get to the latter part of that, you're going to find out as we teach on this in the near future that this was a scripture fulfilled 2,000 years, actually more than 2,000 years ago in some parts of it. But it's also an allusion, alluding to, not an illusion, but alluding to the coming of the Messiah himself. So I'm amazed at how the ministers are bewitching the congregations, and no wonder why Paul uses that in Galatians 3. I am so shocked that you have been bewitched already. See, and this is what's happening today. History is just repeating itself.
Yes.
So.
Now, this is just kind of on a side. I pulled it up here for you to see, how they're getting rid of our police. It's kind of gradual takedown of police because they want to replace it with global force, sort of a global force.
Yeah, people,
And,
you're falling into the New World Order agenda.
Exactly. But eventually the AI, and they're creating these robots that will be policing streets. So this is our future, robots and AI technology. Innovation in the security industry has been stagnant for decades. They're showing you policeman falling asleep or whatever on his job or security, right? And so they will be getting rid of human labor. They don't need us, friends. This is them against us. The AI has taken over the planet. We are going to talk about this tomorrow on Patreon. We will release it later to regular channel, but Patreon will have it first. And AI has taken over, and they don't need human labor. They don't need us. So depopulation
Not just
is
police,
on the books.
right? Not just police. Your job is going to be coming to an end. Whether you be the postman, truck driver, policeman, whatever it is.
Even pilots. They
they're
don't need
all
pilots.
your jobs are coming to an end. Satan is taking over the planet.
Yes.
With his AI, and of course, as we've shared with you so much from these books, the book by Batsk.
That's what
I
we're
can't say
gonna
his name
box.
properly.
Tomorrow
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about this. So I just
Okay.
wanted to quickly show this to them.
All right.
Okay, this is the AI
Looks
robot.
like a vacuum cleaner.
Yes, yes, the security market exploiting thanks to increased demand for sophisticated solutions where we don't have a demand, right?
Oh, it's nuts.
Nobody asked
So
you to do
crazy.
this. That means more than 1 million hours of data to improve our AI systems. AIs are taking over. This is who is you're going to be seeing robots like this everywhere, policing us. But anyway, let's move on to these masks and Fauci. Let me see how I have organized this. Well, this was Fauci a few days ago on CNN, as much as I hate CNN. Okay, but listen to what he says. This is about, they're discussing anti-vaxxers, those that will not want to be vaccinated. So he's going to use interesting wording here. Let's have a listen.
Doubt seriously
Hold on.
that any vaccine will ever be 100% protected. The best we've ever done is measles, which is 97 to 98% effective. That would be wonderful if we get there. I don't think we will. I would settle for a 70-75% effective vaccine, because that would bring you to that level of would be herd immunity level. We have to make sure we engage the community as we're doing now to get community people to help us, for people to understand that we are doing everything we can to show that it's safe and that it's effective, and it's for the good of them as individuals and in society to take the vaccine. So we have a lot of work to do, because as you well know, we've spoken about this intensively in the past, there is a general anti-science, anti-authority, anti-vaccine feeling among some people in this country, an alarmingly large percentage of people, relatively speaking.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you hear this? He said there is a large amount of people.
Anti-vacciners. I love it.
No, he said they're anti-science, and he said the word anti-authority.
Yes,
Well,
an
excuse me,
anti-vaccine.
and
But the good part was the anti-vaccine part. That's what I like. And he said it's a large percentage. I did not realize that we've had that much effect, not just us, of course, many, many people out there. We could just go on and on and on and on and on and name a lot of people, but we just never could do it all. But there's a lot of people out there bringing out the truth through independent media. This is why they're going to shut down independent media.
But on the same interview, which they didn't play it on that part, but I listened to the whole thing, he said that they're going to have influencers who are going to help those anti-vaxxers to understand and re-educate them that vaccines are safe and effective. So he spoke of influencers, and he specifically mentioned actors, okay?
Yes.
Singers, actors, and people like this. But I think the influencers are already pastors, because you have no idea how much email I get from people who go to church, even with this, temperature checks and all of that social distancing. People still go to church, and they write to me that their pastors are telling them it's okay to take vaccines, that it's perfectly fine, and they're influencing them. So yes, pastors will be influencers as well. So be ready for that anti-vaxxers are going to get it very soon, because they're preparing for us. And we wanted to show you something here.
Now, this is from a good friend of ours over in the Netherlands. I'm not going to share with his name if I can help it. They're trying not to there. But I want to really thank our brother there that sent this in to us.
Well, it's on Twitter. That is his name.
Yeah, no, it's not him. That's not him,
okay.
so it's okay. But at any rate there, we thank you, brother, for sending this to us there. Of course, this is the painting that's in the Denver airport back in 1994 is when it was actually placed there, and showing all these children all over the world with their nationality mask on. Every country in the world, I don't know if it's every country represented in this photo because you don't have enough pictures there, but still the point was made. China up in the top right-hand corner, you got the United States, you got Israel right in the middle, but interestingly, they put the Israeli flag on an Arabic individual. Wow. You know what? That shows that Israel is planning on muzzling, not just the flu, but muzzling the Arabic world.
Isn't that something?
That's just the messages that you could probably discover in this if you really begin to look at it closer. Even the little Japanese flag on the little girl right there, holding up a peace sign. Remember what Jesus said when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction.
Yes, but
Right.
this is interesting. 1994, this painting appears on in Denver Airport. But they have many paintings that, of course, predicted New World Order
Right.
and all the things to come. So
Well,
this was one of these paintings.
Listen, we were told by our White House intelligence person there that they had been preparing these things for decades, Shauna. Decades they have prepared all this. So
Now these masks are becoming mandatory, as you know, almost everywhere, gradually in every city, every state. If it's not in your state, it will be. This is a global agenda. This is not just, state by state agenda. This is everywhere. European countries already have it, and it's coming everywhere. Slowly but surely, gradually, they're going to have it. Masks and temperature checks. Temperature checks are starting in hotels and restaurants now, and they are going to be mandatory everywhere if you want to get anywhere. Now later, I'm afraid it's going to be in grocery stores as well. And I believe, Steve, that these masks that are mandatory right now and temperature checks that will be mandatory, I think they're a precursor to kind of prepare us that when vaccine is here and you don't have a certification for a vaccine that you're vaccinated,
you're not having
you
entry.
won't be able to enter restaurant, grocery store, doctor's office.
Yes.
You won't be able to participate in regular daily
That's exactly
life.
right, Anna. Exactly
So
right.
this is what's coming. I am afraid this is what's coming. So please prepare for this. Look at Fauci. Look at his look at his face diaper. I mean, it's just absolutely disgusting. And if you start
What does he
Googling,
got? What does he got on his face anyway? What kind of diaper is he wearing?
well, if you start Googling the
He might be
origins,
wearing a Depends, you know.
the
might-
origins of masks and what's behind it, there is a reason why this painting is on this Denver airport. There is
Yes,
a
there
reason
is.
for that, because it's for satanic New World Order conditioning, meaning telling you that there is that you have no right to speak and that you are going to be submitted.
Yes.
Okay, so this is what masks stands for, because masks don't make any scientific sense. And while we are on masks, let me play this video of Dr. Paulson, Anchorage neurosurgeon, who talks about masks.
Won't call the last name, but I do want to thank you, Brother Renze, for sending us the photo there of the painting. So God bless you, brother.
Hi, I'm Dr. Paulson. I'm a neurosurgeon practicing in Anchorage, Alaska. I want to talk to you about masks. Mayor Berkowitz put forward a mandate that we should all have to wear masks in public. I think this is a mistake. So one of the reasons I think this is a mistake is because masks are really not effective. So masks transmit virus and bacteria through them. Like this one, this is a surgical mask. It has holes in it that are 100 microns. The bacteria that we have in our normal flora is 1 to 10 microns. They easily pass through, and coronavirus is 0.1 to 0.2 microns. They fly through the mask. Throughout the day, when people are wearing their masks, they're constantly adjusting the mask, bringing it up and down to talk on the phone, to talk to somebody, reaching out and touching a doorknob afterwards. Every time you do that, you're touching the outside surface of your mask. And whatever you have breathed out throughout the day is going to be on the surface of the mask. Are people changing their masks every day? I don't think so. Are they changing them and cleaning them like they should? Probably not. We're probably doing more harm to ourselves than good. In the mandate put forward by Mayor Berkowitz, he indicates that the spread of COVID can be prevented with a mask, and there's new scientific evidence. He has complete support of the scientific and physician community. I'm a physician and a scientist, and I disagree with that. I did look up if there were any new sources of data, as he suggested. I can't find it. Don't take my word for it. You should do your own due diligence, and you should look it up for yourself. And I would start with PubMed.gov. It's a repository for scientific articles. And I'll tell you that the scientific literature is very clear on other precautions we should be taking. So the sick, they should be staying home. You should be washing your hands frequently, and you should avoid touching your face. Wearing masks are irritating for most people. They end up touching their masks, and they end up transmitting whatever's on front of their mask to other surfaces. It's dangerous. The mask mandate does us a disservice. It gives us a false sense of security. It's unscientific, and I don't support it.
Dr. Paulson, thank you, Dr. Paulson, for yet another medical professional that slams the Fauci nonsense.
Right, of course. And thank you, Sister Cindy. I know you are here on a chat, and thank you for this video. I told you I'm going to play today. And I know that here you're guys talking about exosomes, and I believe it. This is new to me. As I said, I have an open mind. I had Sophia Smallstorm on. She talked about it. I believe it. I just have to look into it myself before I can talk. I would like to have exosomes. That this
Is that a new exercise going
no,
on?
that is the you know
I
that
know, I'm
we are
just
not to
messing
even
with
worry
you.
about viruses. Okay, they don't cause
just mess-
disease. And I would like to speak with Dr. Kaufman. I sent him invitation. He didn't reply yet. So,
Okay.
but anyway, I have open mind on this. But anyway, the masks are even against the science as we knew it up till now. Let's say viruses are real. Okay, even in that situation, masks don't make any sense. So this
Well,
is
this
the
is what
point.
Dr.
Okay.
Paulson is bringing out. If you'll notice, he's not actually saying the virus is not real. He's just saying that the using of the mask is not, it's not effective.
Yes, I
It's
know.
not doing any good. That's his point. So I appreciate that. He's not against probably the narrative of the virus. We don't know for sure, but he is against claiming that the mask is going to do you some good.
Right. Well, I know that viruses do not live on their own. They have to have a host. Okay.
Yes.
They're basically dead body. They're dead. They don't live.
Right.
So, but anyway, I am not talking about this yet until I do further research. Here we go. I wanted to share with you this. I like the Texas News Studio. They're always putting out some sort of a news that's happening, and I like it so much. Thank you, Sister Rosa, for sending it to me. But let's just go through it together, what they're saying.
Alert, alert, condition red. Arizona is preparing to implement scorecards to determine eligibility for receiving care in COVID world with limited supplies. The elderly and people with pre-existing conditions immediately fall into a lower category of priority due to life expectancy. Yana, if you remember, my own doctor, and I can't call his
Yes.
name, but he said to me he was in a meeting with a board of doctors, and this was back when this first began, and they were being told that if they were 79 and older, they were not to treat their patients. He said it goes against everything of a Hippocratic Oath, and he was totally floored by this.
That's right. Here, Arizona is preparing to implement scorecards to determine eligibility for receiving care in a COVID world with limited supplies. Remember, they're going to call COVID anything. They can turn on 5G, cause tremendous illnesses, call it COVID, and refuse you the care, right?
I think this is what's going to happen when this big dust cloud gets here, because the dust cloud is going to cause a lot of respiratory problems naturally because of the dust. And of course, what are they going to say? COVID-related illnesses have spiked even worse. Oh my God, we just had a horrible pandemic.
That's right.
This is what they'll do.
The elderly and people with pre-existing conditions, if you are sick with any, and you know that everything about you is in doctor's office, they have a record. If you have diabetes, kidney issues, any kind of illness you have, then you fall into this category, okay? You fall in a lower category of priority due to life expectancy. Wow. So here we go. This is where we came to in United States of America. Isn't that something? Let's see what else
Thank
they
you,
say.
Texas News Studio and
Yes.
Sister Rosa for bringing us. Sister Rosa is really
Well,
sends
she's
a lot
our
of
partner.
information.
She helps me because the amount of information is so huge that I don't know what I would do by myself.
We get a
Believe
lot of
me.
people doing that. Steve Riley as well.
Now listen, scorecards. Do you think that's only Arizona? Because I don't think so.
No, it's
I think
not.
this is
It's
going to be
not.
nationwide and
It's
worldwide.
just that they're revealing it there. If my doctor here in Florida was telling me that they were in board meeting about all of this, imagine then, it's Florida as well, it's Texas, New York, we've already seen the things going on there. Obviously, it's happening there. And of course, they are targeting, as we were told by intel sources, they're going to target the undesirables, quote unquote, undesirables, which are the ethnic groups in America. And of course, undesirables is not just limited to ethnicity. It's not just the blacks and the Latinos and everything. It is also Christians. They're considered undesirables as well.
Right. More here. Occult ritual transformation and coronavirus. How mask wearing, hand washing, social separation, and lockdowns are age-old occult ritual being used to initiate people into a new global order. That's exactly what it is. When you research what is behind the masks and wearing of masks, you are going to be shocked. It's the end of
Yes.
free will. It's to show publicly that we are submitted nobodies with no voice whatsoever. Okay? New HK law includes penalties of life in prison and closed trials to protect state secrets, breaking thousands of guillotines prepositioned across America for left-wing terrorists to execute conservatives, Christians, and whites in unfolding civil war. $50 fine for bareface in Miami Beach. Yeah, you know, like in hot weather in Florida, and you have to wear that mask while you are on a beach. Does that make any sense, Steve?
You know what's nice though is you can make your own. And I really, people ought to be, you should find some of these materials that are like mega porous, wide open. Something that looks like your screen on your window or something, and make your mask out of a material like that.
This is insanity. I mean, there's psychopathy is coming through. This is a cabal
Shelley, you are right.
psychopathy.
Zionism is far greater threat than that of the Muslim world. But the Muslim world is going to do the dirty work for them. So don't underestimate this.
Did you hear this rabbi in the beginning? Because the rabbi, if you listen to this again, the rabbi told you they're going to use Muslims and Catholics and all kinds of cults and leaders of Goyim to execute Noahide laws upon them. So the leaders of these religions and cults are going to be forcing their flocks to this.
That's right.
So that re-listen again. This is absolutely shocking. It's very sad situation. And again, Steve,
Anyway,
encourage us
we're
all in
running out
Jesus
of time.
Christ.
Yes.
Encourage us.
Exactly, because let me tell you something. All this may be going on, but I've got to tell you straight up. This is the most exciting time, the most glorious time we could have ever lived in. And I know it doesn't feel that way when we're dealing with all the stress that is surrounding this, the threat of rioting and loss of life and things of that nature. I realize that is stressful, but please, friends, always remember, this is the very day that we have longed for, we've waited for. This is the time when Christ will come. As the scripture said, except that he cut the work short, there would be no flesh saved. In other words, there'd be nobody left on the earth to save. So I'm excited about this time as well. Even though I know there's a lot of stress that goes with it, I'm excited about it. And I can't encourage you enough to be in prayer, to read your Bibles more than you've ever read them before. Really focus on the New Testament. Really get into the Gospels. Get into the Gospel of John. Get into the writings of Paul, things like that. I mean, we already know the Old Testament very well, and I'm not discouraging you from that. If you get into the Old Testament, read the prophets, Isaiah, Jeremiah. Focus on those things that you can look at and see how the prophecies have been fulfilled. And I'm going to continue to teach on these things as the Lord lays it upon my heart, and share with you those things that we have looked at as being future fulfillments when they've already been fulfilled. And now it's so easy to see them. They're everywhere, been fulfilled. And so I'm excited to be able to share more of this with you in the days coming as well. So anyway, any closing words, Jana?
No, just get close to Jesus Christ. That's the only hope we have out of this. You know, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, the life, and the door.
All right.
Why did he say I'm the door?
Because he is the door to the sheepfold.
He's the door.
He is the way. He's the only way you're going to get there is through him.
He's the door out of here.
Yes, and where is he? He's supposed to be within you. It's
Yes.
Christ, the hope of glory in you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! I mean, people look there. It's funny. People are like they're looking off in outer space for him. He's right there with you. He said, "I'll be with you, even in you, until the consummation." That was the end of all things.
That's right. He's
All right,
within us.
all right, guys, we got to go. God bless you. Thank you for watching. And here, I'm going to turn this around just for a moment. And I know it's nice to have a face. My wife has already stepped away from the desk and everything, but I want to just say thank you. Thank you for listening tonight. We do love you guys tremendously and appreciate you so much. Listen, what Yana's going to be putting on Patreon is going to be a shocker. So anyway, we're going to try to do that in the morning. We was hoping to do that today, but just too much going on, trying to get everything put together here. And my little sweetheart, let me tell you something. She is just the most valued resource ever. She makes my life easy. Used to she only did all the research, but now she comes and joins me, and that's just a vast amount of knowledge. So I really appreciate her and thank her. I don't tell her that enough, but I really thank her for being here with me. It frees me up too to go back and do more of the biblical studies as well. God bless you and good night. Well, I don't know if I can end the button, guys. Let me see if I can find it again.